new federal rules to make child safety seats safe.
Now you're in there, nice and snug.
And President Clinton back among friends and about as far from Washington as you can get.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight, Saturday.
Good evening, I'm Aaron Brown. The Reverend Henry Lyons, the head of one of the nation's most powerful black churches, was found guilty today of stealing on a very big scale. Reverend Lyons, the president of the National Baptist Convention USA, was convicted of racketeering and grand theft. His co-defendant, an alleged mistress, was acquitted in the case. Here's ABC's Peggy Waymeyer.
When the jury began its deliberations, Henry Lyons and his supporters gathered outside the courtroom and appealed to a higher power.
In the mighty name of Jesus, please have mercy.
But today, there was no mercy.
We, the jury, find the defendant is guilty of grand theft as charged.
When the verdict was read, Lyons was stone-faced. Prosecutors say Lyons stole more than $200,000 donated to the National Baptist Convention, money that was supposed to be used to rebuild black churches burned by arson. And they say, along with his aide and alleged mistress, Bernice Edwards, he swindled more than $4 million from corporations, to whom the couple sold fraudulent church membership lists.
Instead of using a gun to go in and rob the victims, they use a pen, and they use their word.
Prosecutors say the pair spent the money on luxury homes, diamond rings, and expensive cars.
Their creed was greed.
I worked for my money, I earned my money, and I spent it the way I so desired.
Defense attorneys argued that the pair committed no crimes, even if they did make moral mistakes. And they say the government should not be meddling in what is church business.
Next thing you know, are they going to be writing sermons? Telling us when to pray, when to get on our knees, when to get up, when to get back down, when to get up.
One of the things that makes this case unusual is that church leaders have defended Lyons since this investigation began a year and a half ago. They say Lyons isn't a swindler, he's just a bad bookkeeper.
We're only a few minutes out of slavery. You cannot expect us to have a high-profile, perfected method of operation.
That defense outrages some prominent Baptist pastors.
And until we get rid of that leadership and restore integrity and balance and accountability to the convention, we won't be able to have any major influence on what's happening in the world today.
Lyons was planning on running for another 5-year term as convention president. Now he faces up to 5 years in prison, and in April, another trial. This one in federal court for tax evasion, extortion, and money laundering. Peggy Waymeyer, ABC News, Largo, Florida.
Tonight, a long-awaited national standard for child safety seats is in place, and it will help end confusion over how to install those seats, and it's expected to save hundreds of lives in the process. ABC's Andrea McCarran is in Washington tonight.
Dana Hutchinson was a 3-year-old who loved to read and play dress-up. But a car crash ended her short life, even though she was strapped into a child safety seat. Her parents never suspected the seat was not compatible with the car's seatbelts.
If someone knew that Dana needed something more done for her to protect her in a car, it would have been done.
The new regulation will require every child safety seat to fit into every car or light truck the same way. Within the next 3 years, all car seats will have 3 attachments, 1 at the top, 2 at the bottom. They will lock directly into the rigid anchors that will also be required in the back seats of all new model vehicles by the year 2002. President Clinton announced the new national standard in his weekly radio address.
With this new rule and with these 3 simple attachments, we can save lives and prevent up to 3,000 injuries a year.
The rule will also help clear up the confusion over car seat installation.
The bottom line is we wanted to make it easy for parents to do the right thing.
A recent national study of 17,000 car seats already installed showed that 85% of them had been done so improperly. The most common mistake, too much slack in the safety belt, keeping the seat from staying firmly in place.
This is how that can affect a child in a crash. The car seat in the background is tightly secured. The one in the foreground is not. At a car seat checkpoint today in Northern Virginia, more evidence of just how essential the new regulation is.
Much tighter.
Of the 207 vehicles inspected, only 3 had their car seats properly installed. Andrea McCarran, ABC News, Washington.
President Clinton is out west tonight, a little policy, a little fundraising, a little vacation. And if the president finds the political climate in Washington a bit chilly these days, he has only to set foot in California to be among friends. Here's ABC's Mike Van Friend.
How to celebrate without gloating? That was the dilemma for the Democratic high rollers of Hollywood who turned out for a fundraising bash for the president last night. These are Bill Clinton's people, and they are thrilled that the future of his presidency is no longer in doubt.
I will be here advocating the agenda that I intend to pursue until the last hour of my last day in office.
1, 2, 3. On nights like this, Bill Clinton might have picked up the saxophone and joined the band. But White House aides remember the negative reaction that many had to this picture of the president playing bongo drums and chewing on a cigar just after a federal judge threw out the Paula Jones sexual harassment suit. So last night, Bill Clinton, at his aide's suggestion, resisted the urge to play. During this trip, the president has been dogged by protesters. But the message the White House is hoping to send is that the president is not only still standing, but standing tall. In Tucson, Arizona, he talked about saving Social Security with seniors. In San Francisco, he delivered a sweeping foreign policy address and said that since taking office, quote, the world clearly is coming together. The president will now take some time to bring his family together. This will be the first vacation since the end of the impeachment process, and the president and first lady will celebrate daughter Chelsea's 19th birthday in the serenity of the Utah mountains. Mike Von Fremd, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Still ahead on World News Tonight, this Saturday showdown in the neighborhood known as Little Saigon. People with AIDS finding comfort and controversy, and politics in black and white from a ward in Chicago.
This is World News Tonight, Saturday. Brought to you by new Tavist Sinus Gel Caps.
Oh, sinus pain, so much pressure, I just can't focus.
Mom, what's 13 into 260?
Kevin, just give me a minute.
Mom, you okay?
Now clear the sinus pain with Tavist Sinus Gel Caps. It's new. It goes beyond pain relievers like extra-strength Tylenol to not only relieve pain, but unclog the congestion that may cause the sinus pain. So you're clear-headed again.
Can you say that again? You went too fast.
Why suffer sinus pain? Be clear-headed, clear through your day with new Tavist Sinus Gel Caps.
Start something special.
In a car commercial, you expect to see some fine print. Well, here's some of the finest dark print you'll ever see. Right now, get 2.9% financing on all 99 Oldsmobiles. Start something special at your Oldsmobile dealer now.
There's an athlete amongst us, disguised as a mother and a neighbor. And when most of us are still sleeping, she's running. She also takes the vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and folic acid in Women's Ultra Mega Multivitamins made by General Nutrition Centers. Tomorrow, she'll get up and run some more. Women's Ultra Mega Multivitamins made exclusively by GNC. Live strong, live well.
The search continues for a fourth grader who disappeared in a sudden snowstorm. 200 people scouring lakes and woods and cranberry bogs near the boy's home in Norton, Massachusetts. 9-year-old Corey Anderson vanished on Thursday while looking for his dog. And the FBI is establishing a larger command post in Modesto, California to help solve the disappearance of a Eureka woman, her daughter, and an exchange student. 3 disappeared while sightseeing in Yosemite more than a week ago. Thousands of protesters were back outside a California video store last night where old wounds continue to bring new pain and where a war that ended more than a generation ago continues to be fought. Here's ABC's Jane Clayson.
The angry crowd of demonstrators grew to more than 15,000 last night. This community of Vietnamese immigrants is outraged that a Vietnamese video store owner proudly and defiantly displays a picture of communist leader Ho Chi Minh. Protesters say this is as offensive to Vietnamese exiles as a picture of Hitler would be to Jews.
If that's how he feels about, communism, he should just go back.
The protests and the police presence here have been growing steadily over the last month, and this man is in the middle of it. A Vietnamese refugee himself, Trong Van Tran says he hung the photograph of Ho Chi Minh to provoke a dialogue about the current government in Vietnam.
I have a right, law, in this country. I have a right to do it.
Wasn't any problem until he sent faxes to Vietnamese community groups, basically challenging them about the display and telling them to come down here and confront him about it.
They did, covering the front of Tran's store and winning a temporary restraining order to remove the picture. But a judge ruled Tran has a First Amendment right to display it. That freedom of speech seems lost on these demonstrators, most of whom came to America to escape persecution themselves.
These protests now seem to have taken on a life of their own. Student groups and religious groups from within this Vietnamese community have come to join this gathering, promoting their own causes, even holding fundraisers here.
It is an impassioned display which could continue indefinitely in a community where an old wound has been painfully reopened. Jane Clayson, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Still in California, a storage tank exploded at a solar power plant last night, igniting a fireball so powerful firefighters said it was like trying to put out a house fire with a garden hose. The tank was holding a form of hydraulic fluid used in the solar panels. Nobody hurt. A correction. We reported last week that Dustin Hoffman won a settlement from LA Magazine over the use of his image in a fashion spread. In fact, Mr. Hoffman won a $3 million judgment. LA Magazine is appealing that judgment, saying the fashion spread represented an editorial, not commercial use of Mr. Hoffman's image. When we return, a journey to a colony of compassion.
That must be a fascinating article.
You think?
But now it's time to feed the kitties. Anybody hungry?
I am.
Cats know what they want.
Whiskas. What cats want.
Gotcha.
Woods aren't the only place predators lurk. If you were being followed, would you know what to do? Make sure your doors are locked, windows up. Don't go home. Drive to where there are people, someplace bright, then lean on the horn and draw attention. For more safety tips, get this free book from Shell. Count on Shell.
Sorry I'm late. I was at my doctor and... Oh, did you ask her about the things you've been reading about menopause? I did. She said...
It's important to consider menopause and the consequences of its associated estrogen loss.
You mean like hot flashes? Hot flashes and night sweats, but other things too, like vaginal dryness. It can interfere with intimacy.
And osteoporosis. I know that menopause increases our risk of fractures.
Dr. Hartman also said...
Studies show that menopause contributes to heart disease in women. Additional ongoing studies are investigating the connection between menopause and Alzheimer's disease, colon cancer, blindness, and tooth loss.
I had no idea. My doctor and I decided to stick with a program we've agreed on for years. I should speak to my doctor.
When considering menopause, consider the entire body of evidence. Speak to your doctor about what you can do to help protect your health during and after menopause.
We all have everyday needs. That's why One A Day has specialized blends of herbs, vitamins, and minerals for things like energy or less tension. Special formulas that are just what you need to feel your best.
2020, Sunday. What kind of family approves of this?
There was rape. There was torture.
Tales of horror from a hidden secret society. 2020, Sunday.
Overseas tonight, Russian President Boris Yeltsin is back in the hospital. Doctors readmitted him today after discovering his bleeding ulcer had worsened. Yeltsin's condition is reported to be stable, but physicians say he may remain hospitalized for for a while. In Austria, the avalanche death toll has risen to 38. The body of a 14-year-old German girl was discovered as villagers in the Alps continue to dig out from tons of snow. Coffins are being collected in Innsbruck, Austria. A memorial service planned there tomorrow. In Thailand, there is a place where people with AIDS come to live and often die. No one disputes it as a place of great caring. What is in dispute is whether isolating AIDS patients in this oasis north of Bangkok is good for them. Here's ABC's Mark Litke.
Another day, another 2 funerals at the Lopburi Buddhist temple. According to Thai custom, the bodies are cremated. Here, the crematorium works around the clock. For a decade, these monks and a handful of volunteers have provided care and comfort for Thais with AIDS and nowhere else to go.
Their families bring them here. They don't want to hear anything of them anymore. Just get rid of them, that's all.
Over 20,000 have died of AIDS in Thailand, nearly a fourth of them here. But what began as a simple hospice has now evolved into the world's first voluntary AIDS colony. 200 are living here now, with work underway to accommodate up to 10,000. The head monk says this is one of the rare places in Thailand where AIDS victims can live without fear of rejection. Those who are still healthy can work on the colony's farm. They run their own small businesses here, even their own school, for children either infected with AIDS or orphaned by it. And for those who are too sick, this becomes the home they never have to leave. Yet despite all it offers, the idea of this colony is not universally accepted. AIDS activists believe it rolls back years of efforts to end discrimination against those with the disease. The concern is that an AIDS colony, no matter how well run, sends the wrong message, that it's okay to isolate victims from society, much as leper colonies once did. But those living and working here say this is the only place they don't feel the pain of discrimination. They pray for the day when Thailand becomes more tolerant and a colony isn't needed. But the fact is, most Thais remain deeply fearful of the disease and those who suffer from it. So fearful that many families never even collect these parcels that contain the remains of those who've been cremated here. Even in death, they have nowhere else to go. Mark Litke, ABC News, Lopburi, Thailand.
When we come back, how a jury decides on death, an inside account from the John William King trial.
Some things don't taste their best the day they're made. You'd never drink wine the day they crush the grapes, or eat a green banana.
No way, Dad.
And that's the secret to Papa John's traditional dough. We give the yeast several extra days to work its magic. We never use dough made the same day like some folks. Nature rewards those who exercise patience.
Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. Try our Papa's Choice, a large pizza with your choice of up to 5 toppings for just $10.99.
This could be the year you quit smoking. Zyban can help. It's a totally different way to quit. Not a patch, not a gum. Instead, the first pill that is part of a comprehensive program from your doctor can help you quit smoking. Zyban helps reduce your urge to smoke and makes quitting bearable. And now this can get you started with Zyban. A $5 coupon. Call 1-888-977-STOP to get yours. It's important to know there's a risk of seizure associated with Zyban. To reduce the risk, don't take Zyban if you've had an eating or seizure disorder or are being treated with Wellbutrin. Don't take Zyban if you're taking an MAO inhibitor. Side effects may include dry mouth and difficulty sleeping. Zyban won't work for everyone, but this could be the year you become nicotine-free. Ask your doctor if Zyban is right for you. And break free from nicotine. Break free from smoking.
Try to remember now. Where to look for a ginkgo biloba to help aid memory. Nature's Resource knows you should look for one with terpenes and flavone glycosides for memory help. And unlike some, Nature's Resource guarantees the potency and purity you need. Make your herbal resource nature's resource. Follow the knowledge.
When a Texas jury sentenced John William King to death this week, it was the first time in more than 100 years that a white man had been sentenced to die in Texas for killing an African American.
Sheriff, you may take him to the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to await an execution date.
It took the jury less than 3 hours to decide that death was the appropriate sentence for kidnapping James Byrd Jr. and the unspeakable crime of chaining him to the back of a pickup truck and dragging him to death. The foreman of the jury has known King most of his life. Joe Collins, who's 25 now, went to school with King from kindergarten to high school. He was the only African American on King's jury. In Jasper, Texas, ABC's Carol Simpson sat down for a conversation with jury foreman Joe Collins.
Well, the first reaction was, how could something like this happen in our town? Also, it kind of made everybody a little terrified that something like this had happened.
Do you think America is a racist country?
Yes, ma'am. It's racism everywhere. You just never know when it's in your own town.
Did that surprise you?
Yeah, very much so.
Not in Jasper?
Not in Jasper. I didn't think that it would ever come to this.
Now, I understand that you went to school with, what do you call him, Billy? Bill King? You went to school with him?
Yes, I went to school with him. He was hard to acknowledge because he didn't get in any trouble. He was always quiet, stayed to himself, but he also had friends. I didn't know that he had any hatred in him until that this trial had started.
What was Bill King's reaction to seeing you?
I looked at him and glanced at him and smiled, and he smiled back.
Sitting in the trial, how horrible was it?
The only thing hard about that trial was just sitting there and looking at those pictures.
What were the pictures?
Well, the picture was just basically of Mr. Byrd's body. That's just it.
And he was ripped to pieces?
Shredded. There wasn't any way that man could have fought for his life at all. I mean, using your elbows, your hands, or your face would not never stop a moving truck.
Will you forget those pictures?
I doubt it. I doubt it seriously.
And you say Bill King's reaction was what?
No remorse at all. No remorse.
Would you like to see him dead?
I didn't wish for him to be dead. We tried to go in and look around the ways of not to give Mr. King a death verdict, but, I mean, it wasn't any way around it.
But sentencing a man to death, that's a hard thing to do, isn't it?
Well, also, Mr. King sentenced somebody to death also.
Now that the trial is over, do you feel that you stood up for black people by leading that jury to the decisions it's made?
I try not to make a statement like that. I try to stand up for everybody. I mean, if that had been a black man that did such a crime that Mr. King did, I think I did the same thing. I know I would have.
A conversation with Joe Collins, the foreman of the jury that sentenced John William King to die. If you have a reaction to tonight's conversation or any of the stories we report, email us at weekend@abcnews.com. And when we continue, proof that sometimes politics is colorblind.
You may be surprised who's drinking Ensure. Healthy people. Why? Because to help you stay healthy, you have to eat right. For the times you can't eat nutritious foods like these, drink Ensure. With the essential vitamins and minerals you find in vegetables, calcium like in milk, and protein like in fish. Ensure is a source of complete balanced nutrition to help you stay active and energetic. Drink Ensure. And drink to your health.
Same day, 2 coughs, your choice. Robitussin DM or Vicks 44. Both the same, right? How about 4 hours later and later than that? Time will tell you Vicks 44 is different. With Robitussin DM, you should redose every 4 hours, while soothing Vicks 44 lasts up to 4 hours more. And with your 8-hour day, that's a real plus. Get up to 4 hours more with Vicks 44.
I'm gonna live forever.
I'm gonna ruin your shirt. Stay, baby, remember.
The amazing new Maytag Neptune washer. With its Turbo Clean wash system, it actually has the power to remove stains.
Say goodnight, stains.
I want to live forever.
Now in a super stack.
After you hear what this judge says on Sunday night, you won't stop talking about it on Monday. And don't think that's all you're gonna see. This episode of The Practice proves why this is the best drama on TV.
You're charging a lawyer with murder.
All new, The Practice, ABC Sunday at 10/9 Central.
Finally tonight, a reminder that for all our problems dealing with the delicate issues of race in America, we are, sometimes at least, able to look beyond color. It comes to us from Chicago's 18th Ward and is reported by ABC's Jim Williams.
In Chicago, where voting is often sharply divided along racial lines, Tom Murphy is unusual, a white alderman representing a predominantly black ward.
We're here in a neighborhood that's racially and ethnically diverse, and if we're going to solve the problems in our community, we have to work on them together.
Murphy took office 8 years ago. He is popular, his supporters say, because he serves all his constituents.
The way that he makes himself available, any problems, from the smallest problem to the largest problem, I mean, he's there.
Most people here don't seem to care about Murphy's race, but a group of African-American leaders filed suit against the city of Chicago, charging blacks were underrepresented in the city council. After a long fight, a federal court finally decided Chicago should have one more black alderman. It was Tom Murphy's ward that was ordered redrawn to create a so-called black supermajority.
Tom Murphy decided to run anyway, but this time the ward would be 85% African American, and this time the political experts predicted Murphy would surely lose.
8 challengers, all black, lined up to face him.
And the High Court of this land, the United States of America, stated that this ward should be represented by an African-American alderman. And I think unless he goes to the Bahamas for quite some time, he would not fit that criteria.
Murphy knew he had an uphill fight, but dozens of African-Americans volunteered to help him. They liked the projects Murphy brought to the ward: new homes, streets, and alleys, a library, and a branch bank. And Tuesday, the people of the 18th Ward rewarded Murphy with 58% of the vote.
The people of the 18th Ward have set the standard for this city to follow, and I want to thank them.
All right! His current house is not even in the new ward, so he has to move. Wherever he ends up, Tom Murphy is certain to be right at home. Jim Williams, ABC News, Chicago.
And that's our report for tonight. Tomorrow morning on Good Morning America Sunday, many people think morality is on the decline in the country, but is it really? And on This Week with Sam Donaldson, Cokie Roberts, the Senate Minority Leader Tom Daschle. I'm Aaron Brown in New York. For all of us at ABC News, good night.
Sunday, a controversial experiment. You go for surgery, doctors cut you open, then do nothing. Sham surgery. The medical debate. Watch ABC's World News Tonight, Sunday.
Pfeiffer, Redford, 2 of Hollywood.